Hey guys, welcome to B-Movie Battles Spooktacular Halloween episode. Alright, so we got some, pretty much everybody's been on B-Movie Battles, I think, everybody. So, second time,
old
third
squad
time, you know.
versus other old squad.
So, we're not doing the B-Movie bag, so don't worry about that. I picked some...
Praise hands.
Yeah, I know, right? I picked out some really good ones. The one is actually really obscure. I actually had to go through some weird seedy means to get a hold of it, so I'm excited about that one. And that movie, our first movie, is Spookies. Sasha, if you want to do the honors of reading and telling us about Spookies.
Spookies. Imagine you and your friends are paired up with your favorite dates and the night is very young. There's an old dilapidated mansion just down the road a bit, near the deserted graveyard. It would be the perfect place to party. Let loose. Lose your souls.
Perfect.
What you and your friends don't know, is that inside the house lived an ancient sorcerer, a master of the dark arts. He has sacrificed many to give eternal life to his beloved, comatose bride. Just a few more humans are needed. ... The masterful wizard. You're a wizard, Harry.
Band name called it.
The masterful wizard is about to begin another evening of magic conjuring up a dizzying array of monstrous creatures, hellish lizards, skeletal reapers, demons, zombies, ghosts, lust-crazed muckmen, boring hags, and spider women. All driven by a blind killer instinct, special guests will be treated to an onslaught of twisted supernatural torture until each begs to die. Nothing you have ever witnessed before will have prepared you for the incredible special effects that make Spookies the ultimate unforgettable experience in pure, unrelenting terror.
Sounds
movie's
wow.
not that long.
Is the movie as long as the...
And scene.
So this movie is from like 1986, I believe. And the interesting is,
Yeah, I was born.
this is two different movies that were pushed together into one film.
No way.
Because they started filming a movie, ran out of money, and just canned it for like a whole year, and then they took another movie and squished it into one movie. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah,
for a whole lot of
she's
that.
got some spookies.
She's showing her spookies, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Now, going up against that, it could only be Chud 2.
Oh, yes, I called it! Chud 2. The Chuddening.
Chud 2. Bud the Chud.
Oh my God.
So, Aaron, if you want to tell us about Chud 2.
Oh, it's just as long.
It's got a really long introduction as well. Prepare for horror, comedy, and thrills. All this and Chud 2. If you like the classic Chud, you'll love this outrageous sequel starring Brian Robbins, Head the Class, Garrett Graham, all kinds of names people I never heard of, and many more. Kevin, Steve, and Katie are an inseparable trio of friends doing some extracurricular snooping in the school science lab when among the test tubes and beakers they discover a corpse. But before they can say abracadabra, cadaver that is, the body disappears, rolling down Route 51, stiff and fast. At a local hospital, they find one, but this no ordinary corpse. This is Bud the Chud. He's a half-dead, decomposing humanoid, the result of a military experiment gone haywire, a botched reactivation, and Bud's on a killing spree.
Of course.
Turning everyone into a Chud.
Ew.
The kids, the army, the police, and the FBI are hot on his trail before the entire town gets Chudified.
Oh.
Don't really say
Chudified.
that. Oh my
Chud
God.
2. It's so funny. It's scary.
That's
You'll
amazing.
Chud your pants.
Okay.
Wow. So, I think both will be really good contenders.
This is gonna be a toss-up.
Yeah.
This is gonna
Yes,
be even,
this is gonna be good.
even fight.
Yeah. So let's dive into these Halloween movies, and we'll be back with some B-movie battles.
Ding, 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 ding.
Woo!
Happy birthday, Billy.
her. That was so her. Best scene ever.
What's wrong?
Name right there. This actually sounds good though.
Decrane?
This is sick music. It's like Tangerine Dream.
Chud 2.
Chud.
Oh no, he's biting the chud.
He's literally biting the chud.
That's enough. We've got it. We've got it.
I feel like that general guy is in like one of those commercials for a lawyer. Like, we'll get the money for you.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Proctor's dead guy. Stand back, Doctor. Code blue. Code blue. Don't do that.
Wow, that was really.
Such power.
What do we do now? Run!
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I was wondering
boy.
how they were gonna do that.
Everybody's working for the weekend. Here we go. Get out of the way, nerds!
Oops.
What?
Oh,
I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know which one I liked more.
So bad.
I'm kind of nervous.
B-movie battles. We're back. All right. So we just finished watching Spookies and Chud 2. Bud the Chud.
Chud.
Yeah, they were movies. They're both from the 80s and very different. Very different.
You mean from other movies in
Well,
That's
different.
true.
Definitely their own movies
Some of them
altogether.
were different from
But very different from what I expected from both of them, especially Chud 2. We'll get into it then, but not at all what I expected. So yeah, let's flip
Yep,
to
let's
see
do it.
who gets what.
I think we all are hoping for one particular movie. We won't say
We
what.
won't say. Sasha,
We'll see though.
called in the air. Heads for Spookies, tails for Chud 2. Sasha, call it in the air. Heads or tails?
Heads.
It is heads. You
So
guys
that
get
means we
Spookies.
get to choose spooky.
We don't actually get to choose. We just get heads.
You get Spookies.
This is
guys-
gonna happen to us.
You guys get Chud
That's
2.
so weird.
Chud.
Okay.
Chud? That's right.
We got Nacho Libre team.
No, yes.
The
We are-
Masquerade
we're
team.
from the Masquerade. It's the Halloween edition.
That's right. Happy
Cheers,
Halloween.
mate.
It's
Happy
all
Halloween.
And we're just chuds.
We're just chuds, unfortunately.
two chuds.
Bunch of
Chud.
Chud
two chuds in a
chuds.
pod.
Two chuds.
two buds in the chud. Cut.
So
Nope. This
I
is
was
gonna.
just reading the.
so Team Spooky and Team Chud 2.
Spooky.
Spookies, if you could just give us kind of a brief synopsis of your movie and just kind
can
of give us
we?
a rundown
Oh,
of what
can we?
happens.
There are a bunch of. Imagine, if you will, you and your friends are paired up with your favorite dates, and the night is very. No, I'm kidding. I'm reading the back. So literally, it is a bunch of friends, and they're not. They're not young.
We don't know if they're friends, to be honest.
Okay.
There's an old guy.
Allegedly, they're friends. Okay. Here's the basic plot. There is a wizard in a big house in a mansion, and he has his bride who is comatose. She's like under a spell, and he's basically keeping her alive. He's very old.
Yep.
And he needs souls to keep her young and beautiful and awake. He's super old. She looks young and like 25 or
Yeah, she's
whatever.
been asleep for 70
She's
years.
25 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, super long time.
She hates him for it.
Yeah, we'll get into that later, but yeah, she does. However, she's his bride. Till death do us part. And then, so he needs souls. So basically, anyone who wanders, whether it be a little child or a bunch of, or Guido or, Practical Paul, old man wandering around, they all must die. But according to his evil little scheme.
Did you say that he collects the souls to get her back?
Yeah. So he basically takes their souls somehow. We're not sure, but he does. And it's basically the adventures or the misadventures, if you will, of this group of people inside this haunted mansion while they desperately try to escape, while he lackadaisically goes about killing them.
Killing each one in a weird way.
Yeah, under his control,
Right.
somehow.
Right. Yeah, I'd say that's a good synopsis.
And it's full of, lusty mudmen.
We'll get into the specific
Witches,
creatures.
yeah.
Muffin, yeah.
There's just a bunch of creatures
Tons
that
of
just
different things.
just come popping out of every orifice of the mansion,
All right.
literally and figuratively.
Chud 2, you want to give us kind of a rundown of your plot?
Do you want to go?
I guess I'll start. You can kind of interject as you
Okay.
want, Amy. So I've kind of seen parts of Chud 1. I don't really remember it. So Chud 2 I don't think has anything to do with the original.
I don't think they're tied together at all.
They're not really tied together at all, but apparently there's this creature that's a chud, and he's in some top secret military, CDC sort of thing. They have
Yeah.
him hold away, and these teenagers lose a cadaver at their high school that they were going to look at. And so instead of just picking up the cadaver that rolled down the street, they decided to break into the CDC
Right.
and steal this dead body, and they didn't realize it was the Chud. And so the Chud is some kind of carnivorous humanoid underground dweller
Yeah.
that eats people,
Right. Basically like a zombie, but smarter.
Yeah.
but smarter,
Bites him.
bites
Yeah,
people,
like
and
a-
then they
like
end
a
up
cannibal or something.
cannibal.
Yeah.
They end up bringing him back to life, and just kind of hilarity supposedly
Like a
ensues.
romp, like an 80s goofy
It's definitely
romp.
more of a comedy with a little bit of some gore here. I would say it's more of a
It
comedy.
does take place on Halloween, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it does.
Tied into.
I don't know if they were thinking the words dark comedy when they were making it, but they definitely went comedy and not dark.
Oh, no.
Right.
And then the guess the rest of the movie is that they're trying to stop the creature. There's a general who's he was interested in keeping the Chud program in
Yeah.
militarized or something like that, and they end up in the end the heroes save the day and you stop the Chuds. The Chuds are almost like The Walking Dead, where they bite people and then it kind of multiplies
Yeah.
throughout the
Yeah,
whole town.
spreads.
And that's kind of the whole plot line of it throughout.
Yeah.
And then there's some kind of weird things at the end that we'll probably get into a little bit later
Yeah,
on
we
with
can
the
go more.
actual ending. But they end up saving the day and stopping all the Chuds.
Yeah.
And that's basically the main plot of
Right.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say that's
Stopping
accurate.
the infection from spreading.
Right.
Yeah.
If you guys want to either just kind of start battling or go into a little more detail, give us some good and bad from both. Give us some good from your movie if you want to point out the bad things from their movie. Whatever
Well-
you guys want to go for
well,
first.
Your movie sucked.
What?
Let's
No, it
let's
didn't.
just be.
That's some strong words
What
out the
in
gate.
the wild world of sports do you mean
Yes.
about that?
What in the wide world of sports is going on in here?
In the
Seriously.
worldwide world of sports.
Do not.
From a title like Chud to Bud the Chud, I was expecting a lot of things. And you know what? I can't say it really delivered. The funniest part was literally them saying the word Chud and not laughing. When you first said Chud, I started laughing. And for all of you watching at home, it's actually as funny in the movie when someone says, "Hey, it's the Chud," and we're all like, oh.
I mean, it's a funny word. You can't get around
Yeah,
that.
We're all
not
snicker
at all.
every time because
Yeah.
the general says it hilarious. He just says it. It's straight face. It's yeah, the Chud, and we're like,
There's all kinds of chudism and stuff like that.
right?
I think
Chud
we had a
infection.
lot of fun saying
Oh.
chud.
Yes.
Yeah, they say Chud spray. They say Chudism. They say what else do they say? All kinds of stuff.
So you're just racking on our movie. Your movie wasn't good.
Oh, our
is that what
movie
you're
is
saying?
awesome.
I
Our
don't know
movie's
about that.
No,
I would disagree.
I
Give
can't
us
say it
something
was
about their
awesome.
movie that you didn't like.
There's
Whoa,
a lot of things.
special effects. Hello.
Besides the special effects,
Amazing.
that's the only thing you have going for you. This movie, the storyline, first of all, is crap because it's two different movies put together.
You're talking about Spookies?
I'm talking about Spookies.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this actually was two different movies that
Put
were
together.
Frankenstein together, which was kind of fun to think about when you were watching it because you're trying to figure out which one
Right.
is which. But yeah, go ahead.
which
You
is
could
crazy
cut
'cause it
out
was better
almost half of it,
than I was planned out.
and then it would be a better movie, really, because there's so many scenes that just didn't make sense. You had the wizard that was sitting in the room trying to bring his bride back to life.
You're a wizard.
Never really tied into the people in the house because we're pretty sure those were two different movies. So you're kind of confused on what's going on. I mean, I think there was a good storyline in there, and they just totally failed it. They just totally dropped the ball. I don't know. I don't even think there was any charm to it, to be honest.
Well, let me say, it's hard enough, as us editors know, it's hard enough to edit one coherent movie. Imagine trying to edit two movies together. So what they did with putting two movies together, fantastic.
Oh.
We had a wizard. Okay.
Okay,
hold on a
no,
second.
the better idea
Wait,
would be,
Was he a
let's
wizard?
just drop
Some
it.
wedgie board.
I got 2 words for you. Duke, 3 words. Rich, Adrian, David,
Zippers.
Carol.
How many words are we counting?
Let me just
Wait,
start
wait,
counting
wait.
all the words.
Are these all the characters?
These
the
are our
characters
awesome
that made no
characters.
sense? These characters didn't even know each other. They gave no background story. They just ended up at this
They
house.
just wanted to party.
They
okay?
just wanted to.
You
Wait,
had-
one
you had
person
one
wanted to party.
creature with eyeliner named Chud.
One.
We had an Asian lady that turned into a spider.
Turned into a
and
freaking
5 different cuts.
That was amazing.
Yeah, maybe even 10 different cuts. She
Something
just
like
kept transforming. She was like,
We had farting
That's bad.
Muckman.
That is not even good. That
And it
is
was
not
like a
good
fart
at all.
machine on your iPhone.
stereotypes. It
That is
was
a
awesome.
con to
She's
the
like,
movie.
come, I rescue you. I rescue you.
No,
come,
no, no.
come to
This
my
is
cave.
the thing. They had these creatures that were gassy, farting.
Well, can you
They were
explain,
giving-
explain the whole scene, like how we get to these farting
Well,
muckmen?
basically, in the house, every time they go into a room, there's a different creature that comes out to attack them, which is really a neat idea, except it looked really dumb because they didn't do a good job on a lot of it. But the big farting, gassy monsters, why? Why? Why did they do that?
Because the whole time you're like, when it first started, you're like,
It's
are those fart noises coming from the creatures? Like you're like, nah, that's not it.
Yeah.
No.
They're still like,
Yeah,
But
every
they're
move they make is
farting.
like.
And the thing is, we
So-
laughed the whole time.
I
and
know.
in unbelief first, and then we laughed because it was funny, and then we laughed because it wouldn't stop.
But the
we
message,
just laughed.
the
and
message of
laughed.
your movie is so misleading. It really is. You didn't know if it was supposed to be funny or if it was supposed to be scary, and that part was very confusing. Let's just put it like that.
Possibly, but I will say with Chud, what you just said times 2.
No,
maybe
no, no.
3, because we were expecting. I was expecting. I don't know about you guys. I was expecting like pretty scary like Friday the or like Freddy, like
Yeah.
something like Friday the 13th, like someone's like Chud is gonna go around and start eating people,
Yeah.
and then
Well,
and then they there was a cadaver, and then they pushed it out the door, and it went flying down the highway, and then it was literally downhill with the body the whole way because you're like, wait, is that supposed
just
to be
never
funny?
stopped.
And then it was like
Wow.
nonstop gags.
Yeah,
Just
like
but that's
puns.
consistent,
Gags.
and that's transparent. That's what they were going for, though.
That's true.
That's the point.
That's a good point.
That was scary, but
It's
then
false advertising.
kind of funny. It's false advertising, but that's advertising. We're talking about the movie, Sasha, here. And they were being funny the whole time.
Okay.
The whole thing was puns, being funny with some gore and some scariness to tie in the whole Halloween, but it was a comedy. And it was consistent the
some
whole
gore
way
being
through.
like
Like,
a little bit of.
well, they had some
corn
blood
syrup.
splash on
There was
the
a
wall.
there was a decapitation. We just
Yeah.
had monsters and more monsters.
Let's back up
And-
a little bit.
Okay, yes.
Let's back
Get
up.
a little-
Let's back up a little bit. I want to hear because both movies had kind of like their core group of characters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your movie had all kinds of characters. You guys had like your classic '80s like kids
Mm-hmm.
going on their comedy romp. Can I get a little bit like? Can you guys just explain some of your characters and your favorite characters, and just kind of explain a little bit about them for me?
The movie should have been called Bud the Chud's Day Off. That would have been great.
That would have been really good, actually.
Well, let's go with you guys. Can you give me like some of who your characters are and like explain a little bit of the fun things that they were Like, just a little bit more about your characters.
Do you want to go? I mean, the main characters were the 3 students. They were best friends from childhood. So it was 2 boys, one that was kind of like the nerd, one that was kind
Kevin.
of supposedly the bad boy.
He was a nerd because he had glasses on.
Yes.
Kevin the nerd, Steve the jerk.
And Katie, who's their friend, who...
The hot girl.
The
is what
hot
she
girl.
is.
Hot one.
Katie. So that was the main group. And then, of course, we had Bud the Chud,
Right.
who is also becomes one of the main characters as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there's the characters, they kind of developed them at least. Like, you kind of knew what you were getting with them,
Yep.
which is the thing that was really strong about our movie. Like, it was kind of like that 80s, kind of high school romp, but at least the characters, like, had some depth to them, and you kind of knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
You mean, you kind of know that, like, Steve's the bad boy, and he's kind of like, kind of having a good time, and, Kevin's kind of more, like, uptight and, like, the nerd and things like that.
Right.
So it was cool about that you actually had, like, kind of defined characters. There wasn't, like, a backstory per se.
Yeah.
But at least kind of, like, developed that you knew what was going on. Like, thing with Spookies, it was like, who the heck are these people?
No,
and then
yeah.
like there's one girl that has like a fake accent, like the British accent.
that's right.
It was like someone was like, "Hey, like in high school I saw you and you did like a play and you could do like a British accent. You should do that in a whole movie."
Do
Yeah,
that.
that was pretty much, all the
And then she
Alright.
was the only British person
You-
in the whole movie. It was
You
just-
guys, your characters might have had an arc, but ours were defined. You had the Guido. You had ours were defined and consistent. They had no arc, but they were there and they were always the way they were. You had the Guido.
So were ours.
Duke.
You had Duke the Guido. You had the British chick. You had Peter, who was just like the boring old guy. He was like the pragmatic one. You had like the ditzy girlfriend, Duke's ditzy girlfriend, just like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? You had like the depressed one who's just like, we're all gonna die. Like this sucks. So our characters were defined. They just didn't have any arcs
Right.
per se,
Okay.
except for Peter. Peter had an arc.
I don't
He was like a
know.
total wuss, and then he
I don't-
fought back.
I can't
was
agree
Peter?
with you.
I don't even remember
I don't
who Peter
I
was.
can't agree
The
with
old
you
man,
on
the
that.
one who fought
What
back.
about
The
Billy?
guy looked like he was 40, but he was hanging out with
Oh,
a bunch
yeah,
of
he-
20-year-olds.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
like-
the 40-year-old man who was like a total wuss in the beginning, and then he's just like, then he fights Duke.
For
He
no
dukes it out with
for
Duke.
no reason. They're like, this was
No,
scary. It's not that
because-
bad.
no,
And then
it's
they fight
because
it out.
They fight because Duke is a prick, and he's just like a douche. He's like that Guido, like macho, and that's why they fight, because Duke is consistent. He's true to himself.
True to himself.
None of
And-
your characters seem to care about each other, though. There was only one comment made. That's how we knew that they were related in some way. Was when she said, "Look at these people. Can you believe I grew up with them?"
It's funny, I grew up with these people.
Yeah,
Or
we-
something
we-
like
we
that.
grew up-
But there
we
was
grew
no
up-
one she was specifically talking about. It was
Right.
just all
Oh.
of them except her man, I guess. But that was
No, they showed the comic relief. Rich, the funny
Guy
younger
with the
look.
puppet.
I would
Look,
not
Vincent-
say
the
comic
Vincent,
Tell us,
relief.
tell us about Rich.
Vincent Price,
How we're
like,
introduced to him and just
a
little
young
bit.
Vincent Price. He's sitting in the back of their car. They're cruising. They have 2 cars. They're cruising through the woods, just like, and
They're
you know,
looking
Duke-
for a party.
Hey, Duke, where are you taking us anyway?
Come on, you guys. The night's a long way from over, man. I'm looking for another party. Me too. No, is he starting with that thing again? Uh-oh. Duke's mad now, Mook.
There's like
Ah.
people getting possessed by demons, and he's like still got the
Yes.
It's pretty
Yeah.
messed up.
Tone was
like
all weird.
he was the comic relief, and they were so married to the idea of him being comic relief that he was comic relieving
Till the end.
till the bitter end. Till he got eaten by the Asian woman spider. She's like, come to my cave, I'll rescue you, like help me. That's how she talked. That's not me like making fun of Asians. Like literally she was like, I've been trapped here, I'm a trapped survivor, come. It's like beautiful Asian girl, and then she just transforms into this monster
That was
spider.
a pretty cool scene.
it right out of him. And it was awesome because she kept
That's one thing
transforming.
that I do see that was pretty
and
cool.
transforming.
It
And
was
like
the
people's
scene was
heads
way
would
too-
split open, and like light came out of fire, and electricity, and then
Yeah.
like his brain vein pulsing. And
Each
just, like,
monster had its own thing.
yes, each monster was
Not the
defined.
kids that the monsters were eating.
Right.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I think that was
Sort
the
of.
strongest point on that movie that I
Yeah.
will
really
give to Spookies is like the special effects. Not all of them, but like some of the creatures they had were pretty sweet. Like that one that you're talking about with the spider, but then also like the one that was kind of like a predator sort of thing.
The Fishman type thing.
Yeah, like it,
that was cool.
like it
Like
was
the one,
weird.
like,
Like
wrapped his like little claws around the neck
Yeah.
and like sucked his soul out.
well, yeah, sucked like their soul out and like then like squished the brain of whoever that person
But yeah,
was. See, and that's the
Oh,
thing
so
that
good.
was like the
Monsters.
special effects were some of them were pretty good for the time, but it's
Yeah.
like why not just focus on one of them?
I
Like-
know. Yeah.
Like it was
Well,
just like
yeah.
kind of like all over the place.
because
Like
they
it
were
was like
flush with cash and had to make monsters.
It
I'm
felt,
sure they had a lot of money.
It
right
felt like
there.
they were trying to be like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to be like they wanted all these kind of like weird creatures and like effects, but like they
Yes.
had no direction for it, kind of thing.
Well, I kind of got the vibe with the, it was like the witch in the basement. It was a puppet, but I actually liked it. I thought it was a pretty
She
cool
was
scene
great.
because it did remind me of Evil Dead 2, and with the laughing and the craziness and the cuts. But
So good.
It just there was no like plot development in any of
Yeah.
that. Like
Yeah.
like the bride like runs off. She's like, I don't want to be with you, evil
Yeah.
man, and she like runs off, and then like she gets into this like cavern, and there's like the witches down there, and they like attack her, and then she just keeps on running,
And nothing happened.
and then that's
nothing
it.
happens.
We never
Like-
find out.
and that's
ever
kind of the whole
again.
thing with that movie is that like there's all these cool creatures, and there's just no development.
Yeah.
Here's ultimately our movie at its core. Speaking of core, you mentioned core with your question.
Yeah.
Our movie at its core is about a father and son relationship. It's the relationship between the dad and his little creepy, disgusting, like
Little blue
offspring.
boy.
Yeah, and yes, he shows up really late in the movie, but
He's in the beginning.
he is in the beginning.
He
Like,
takes
he, yeah,
Billy's,
he
ice
like
pick
he like
and
run, he
stabs
runs
him.
around.
That's true.
He like runs around. Yeah, he runs around. He's in the beginning, and then by the end, it's his father basically passing the reins on because he does. He gets unicorned, which we'll explain later.
Hashtag unicorn.
Hashtag unicorn. But then the kid takes over, and he's basically even more powerful because then he like necromances the dad, and the dad comes out of the grave, which you see in the beginning. So there was foreshadowing, there was a setup and a payoff, and you know it's the story of the father passing the torch.
Arc.
There it is.
Arc of the Spookies.
Arc of the Spookies. The monsters were just there to show. Well, one to have gore because
His
I mean,
power.
our movie. The thing is, our
really
movie is
stretching there for some.
our movie's
some plot.
the thing is, our movie is advertised as just a gore fest. Like literally, they take time to describe all the creatures on the back because that's all it is. Just like
There's a
'Cause that's-
lineup.
Because
There's
that's
a
all
lineup.
it is, literally.
we have
Yep.
Just
hellish
wandering
lizards,
around a house and
skeletal
monsters.
reapers,
Yeah.
demons, zombies, ghosts.
So on the back of yours, does it say what we got out of yours?
Chuds.
Chud going on
Yeah.
a
Pretty much. I
On
mean,
a
it
killing
does
spree.
explain the whole, the premise, like in the beginning, what's going
zero
to happen.
humor. It's just like
No, prepare for horror, comedy, and thrills. All of this and chud.
we got
Well,
the
I
got
mean,
the comedy.
we got it all,
Not the
and
horrors.
chud.
Not the horror so much.
the thrills.
Yeah, or the thrills.
It was a little bit like Thriller. You gotta. You mean?
there was
Yeah.
there was the little
That was
thriller
the one
dancing.
kind of connecting thread. Is
got
at
the
one
puns
point,
and you got the
both these
chuds.
movies ended up being like a thriller music video.
Yeah.
Which was so weird.
Yeah.
Like they both had those
Like-
elements.
like-
And I will
had
say
that-
ours dragged on way too long. While yours was like a little nod to Thriller. Ours was like we're gonna copy Thriller and then times to it.
So give me a little more. Let's dive into Chud 2 a little bit. Can you give me like kind of just either give me some scenes that you liked, some like of your best moments. Just give me some good things about Chud 2 and a little more in depth about it.
One thing right away, like we watched Spookies first, And next we put on Chud, and right away it was a bigger budget film, so it was kind of a little bit more enjoyable to watch. They opened up the first scene as a ongoing.
Oh, so yeah. A oneer.
Yeah, what's it called? Like an ongoing scene, yeah.
Yeah, one take.
Which they did really well with. So they set it up very nicely, I thought. And then they cut to the kids and what they're doing. I mean, I feel like the feel of the movie was a lot more fun. With Spookies, the cast they felt like adults, so they didn't feel very vulnerable. Where, like, the guy, he looked like he was like 42. I mean, he looked old, so I never felt
in Spookies.
In Spookies, yeah, he felt you never felt vulnerable. Where here, I mean, even though it was more of a comedy, they are young kids and they're just trying to figure out how to fix their mistake, you know. But they're only like 17
What are some of the
years
things you
old.
liked about Chud 2? Like, give me some specific things.
I mean, I like some of the comedy. Like, I like the body rolling down the hill. I think we all were like, whoa!
Oh, the stretcher.
The stretcher, the body on the stretcher just taken off. And they had they even put a camera right on like the belly of the body going down, and I really liked that shot. I thought that was really cool and really creative.
I expected it to be a lot more like of a like more of the thrill and frightening, less and less of the comedy, but ended up being a little bit more heavier on the comedy side.
Right.
But like once you like kind of got over that and we're like, okay, it's gonna have a little bit of that edge. It was kind of a lot of fun. Like there was like a little bit of a romp to it, like it kind of like going through different scenes. And there's like the scene where they're like at the burger joint, and like it's like like chuds break out everywhere. Like Bud walks in and like he like bites everybody in the whole place.
And you see him like fighting.
They're like fighting, and then like or I guess Bud has already made a group of chuds, I guess, or something. And they all walk in. They're like, "What?" They're like, "What's on the menu?" or something. And they're like, "We want Bobby." And they grab the guy Bobby and eat him or something like that.
What'll it be, folks? Yeah, well, we have a variety of burgers here at Bossy's. Just let me know what kind of meat you want. Baby, binge, bounty, bodacious.
A lot of good one-liners.
A lot of good one-liners.
A ton of puns.
And then there's just a lot of like kind of things that happens. Like there's that same scene. Like the military guy comes up, Colonel Masters or whatever, and like he like blows up that entire building.
Yeah, that was
which
cool.
I didn't expect at all. Like all of a sudden,
I think we were all like, "What?" Because like up until that point, there wasn't a whole lot of action, and all of a sudden the whole burger joint just explodes.
Which was
like,
awesome.
Well, yeah, because and there was one of those things where like before they had like frozen the chuds to like stop them, and so I was like, oh, he's got like a freeze gun out, and so like he gets out like a giant bazooka instead, and like blows up the entire burger joint.
Yeah, that was cool.
The scene where the dog takes the limo driver too, he's like, "Come here." He's like, "Come on, Archie." He's like, "Come into my arms." Like, "Come on, I want I'm gonna give you a sandwich from inside."
Hey, puppy, you lost? Oh, poor little guy. Come here, puppy-uppy. Come on. Come on. I said to come here. I'm sorry, kitten. I'm not gonna hurt you. Come on. I know. I can get you a sandwich from inside. You wanting something to eat? Oh, is that...
How about some more specifics, some things you guys really liked about yours? Can you go into a little more detail about maybe a scene or two? What about the Grim Reaper?
The Grim Reaper, yeah, there was it was a skeletal Reaper.
Yeah, it definitely just looked like someone in an outfit with like
And-
a Reaper.
Can you explain that whole just for everybody? Go into that scene because that was pretty amazing too.
They get locked in a room, and all of a sudden, the wizard does his little thing, and then lightning strikes this statue, and it comes to life, which is like the thing that happens 3 different times, where like some sort of statue or some kind of thing like comes to life, and he just has this scythe.
Yeah, he's just like a straight Grim Reaper.
And he just comes after them, and then they go to the other side of the door, and they're like, "Oh no!" And he like just cuts through the door, and then he's through the door.
Well, before that,
What about your favorite character, my friend?
Your man, Duke.
Your man. Yeah.
Well, that's
Duke.
after he cuts through the door, right? Because they fight. Yeah. Well, he
that's
cuts
in the room.
He cuts.
Yeah.
No, he cuts through the first door, comes in after them, and then Duke just, my homie, let's pour one out. He's just like a total like badass. But then like he just stands up in front of the Reaper, looks at him. They're this close. The Reaper walks right up to him and he says, oh shit, and then he just bites it, and then he goes flying across the room, smashes
Like
into
a
a bunch
chump.
like
Yeah.
a chump, like a chud. Just goes flying into like a dresser, and then you never see him again.
It's gone.
And he's gone, and he's dead.
And then the Reaper continues to follow them around, and then they end up on like the roof of the porch.
That's right. They go out the window.
They go up the second story. Yeah, they're out in the window, and then they climb out, and then he comes out after them. At which point I said, he's moving kind of slow. It's pretty slow moving. I think they can just push him off the roof. Yeah. Hey! 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 He killed Death. Thank you for following my advice, good sir. Practical Paul at work. He hits the ground and he just
explodes.
detonates.
Like
Yeah.
a massive explosion.
In an explosion, all pretty much as good as the your burger joint.
Wait,
Just
it's
a
like-
big
That
old
makes
boom.
no
But it's
sense.
so out of nowhere.
It's like 1/4 of their budget is spent on like the Reaper
They're like,
explosion.
let's make this explosion huge.
Yeah.
you
like a
missed,
total-
you missed like the 10 minutes of zombie running.
Zombie.
Oh, yeah,
group.
no.
Probably 15 minutes of
Yeah,
zombie
th-
Well,
running.
that was
running.
that was our thriller. That was like I mean, you even saw someone who looked like Michael Jackson. You saw it.
It was like
Yeah,
this.
it was 10 minutes of a girl getting groped by zombies in a field.
You're like,
Just she's
And it
just
wasn't
like,
scary or just kind of like.
It was
okay.
basically-
And there was music. It was like a
It was
thriller.
annoying.
It was
It was
thriller. It was like dun 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 dun.
I was just
dun,
watching
dun,
and I'm like,
dun,
how
dun, dun,
long
dun, dun.
are they gonna grope this woman?
Well, and the thing was, it probably
The
was.
80s, man. Everyone was a perv.
She did run at one point.
Yes.
But then, like, the next scene, they were all right back, right
Yeah.
Yeah.
behind her. Like,
Well, if you look at the cover, it's kind of alluding to them just really groping her up. She's got like her dress is almost off.
Her spookies
Her
are showing.
spookies were almost showing.
But
It
the
was
thing about
rough.
that whole scene was like it literally probably she was fearing for her life by the end when they were filming it because it was like
Yeah, that
like
is
10
true.
You're
minutes
saying
of like
it wasn't acting anymore. She
wasn't-
was actually just
Like,
terrified.
They got
She just,
homeless.
like,
they
stopped
just got
groping.
homeless people off the street. You want to be in a movie? All right, we'll put some makeup on it. Grab her.
The director's back there like, yeah, don't
Hey,
cut, don't cut.
Okay, you know, I mean, how many directors are like, you know, they're like, they want to see some little something, you know? So they're just like, yeah, keep the scene going.
Just
yeah,
roll, just keep going.
Tear her dress off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Scare
it's
her.
the '80s. So he's probably sitting in the back there like, oh, smoking a cigarette. Like, yeah, keep it rolling.
The end was actually just like it's like Blair Witch style. It was like real footage. They just like set up cameras, but didn't tell her what was gonna happen.
Yeah, but then the son, the little creepy kid, like he was creepy. Like the little son was
I'll
just
give him that.
weird.
That was
Yeah.
creepy.
Like of all the monsters, that little son was like the most creepiest one. And then
He
he's
was
just like
creepy.
bad, and like he necromances the dad who comes ripping out of that grave we see in the beginning, and then it's just like like Thriller where he's laughing, and then it just
Yeah.
ends, and then it freeze frames. Yes.
oh, yeah.
Let's go back to Chud 2 here. Can you give me? You said you had a lot of good one-liners. Well, like explain some of those one-liners that you guys had.
The farmer comes in when there's Bud the Chud and the main characters, and he just walks in and he just says,
What in the wide world of sports is going on in here?
So I was thinking of a different line.
"Are you which for?"
Yeah, I was gonna say
This chud's for you.
oh, this
Oh,
Chud's
yeah.
You
for
totally just said it at one point in the movie, and then like half an hour later, all of a sudden the guy's like,
Isn't it on the
"This
back?"
chud's
It is
for
for
you."
you.
I didn't
Oh,
say
is
it just because. I said it because it's on the back of
It
the movie.
is.
This Chud's for
you.
you.
And we should have realized that means it was going to be more of a comedy.
But yeah, I mean, there was some funny part, like good,
So that
like
is
intentional comedy that actually
He's a-
landed. Like,
Yeah.
This shot's for you.
So the kids need to come up with a plan to actually destroy these chuds. And this is where the movie is great.
Destroying Chud.
There's a lot of they have the foreshadowing. It does take place in the beginning in like a science lab. The kid's kind of nerdy, so they're gonna use kind of like science to defeat them. So they actually went
She
very.
blinded me with science.
I knew that was coming.
That's what I
What
was
is that
thinking,
from?
It's from a song.
Oh,
Sorry,
From that
continue.
time-
So
From
they,
that time
leave,
frame.
so there's a big Halloween dance going on.
yes. And so they figure out all the chuds are gonna go to the Halloween dance because that's considered a big buffet for them. So all the chuds,
buffet.
come in and they're trying to eat, the kids as they're dancing. So it's kind of funny how they're trying to get to them.
Oh, I enjoyed that dancing. Oh,
Yeah,
so
it was
good.
it
I'll
was
give you
really
that. You
good.
guys
They
get mad
definitely hired those specific
Yeah,
people
apparently
for their
everybody
dancing.
in the town was a really good dancer.
Yeah.
all
So
the
that,
teenagers
that
were
was
really
cool.
good dancers.
So good.
It was good.
But But yeah, so in the end, they use their science knowledge and they
Science.
figure out to use the pool and to throw nitroglycerin or
No,
whatever.
the nitrogen.
Nitrogen,
Yeah, just
whatever.
pure nitrogen out of the
They
tanks.
discover that if they freeze them
Then zap
and
them.
then zap them with electricity, they will explode.
Yes.
They overload their brains.
Yeah, because that's how they. And I guess they're like the teacher in the very beginning of the movie is like the first one that they kill.
Yeah.
And that's what they like freeze him and then they
like
Zap
electrocute
him,
them, yeah.
and they figure out that's the way to kill all the chuds.
Yeah. So I would definitely say that is a big strong point for Chud 2 is the fact that they went very creative with how they were going to kill these people. I mean, they did an explosion already on them, and that didn't work. They weren't using guns or anything. They were just high schoolers just trying to figure out what to do. And so it was neat. This scene was actually really awesome, having all the chuds run in from the hall into the pool. And kind of falling in because they were chasing Katie, and I don't know. It was actually really
They
neat. I
were
mean, you
chasing
really
Katie.
it grabs your attention, and you really wanted to see what was going to
So
happen.
that's something you guys didn't touch on. Why was Katie such an important?
They
piece
wanted that
to the
Katie meat.
story?
But yeah,
Bud the Chud's love interest.
Oh,
Yeah.
she
Yeah,
was
it
loving.
was.
So Bud the Chud apparently was really into Katie,
Yeah.
the main character, for some reason. So
He saw her picture
yeah.
earlier, and then he ripped off her two friends who were on the sides and within the picture, and was like,
There was an ongoing fascination that he had for Katie. Yeah,
And then after that, they finally get the electricity in the pool,
and there's a
and
big explosion.
they all explode.
they all explode. It was
It's
kind of funny.
pretty
There's like light comes out of their heads or their
Yeah.
chests, and then they explode.
yeah, and then little,
I thought it was
little.
pretty
pretty
good.
cool.
Yeah.
That's good points from both sides.
Okay.
Now, since it's a Halloween episode, kind of pitch me like why you would want to watch your movie on Halloween versus the other one. Like, what makes your movie a better Halloween movie versus the other one?
Please.
Go ahead, guys. Spookies.
Come on.
Spookies. Go ahead. Tell me.
It's like
It's
if
called
you said
Spookies.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Halloween is Spookies. Chud is Chud.
it's
Chud
like
is Chud.
Chud is like Chud. It's like do you want to watch the movie Halloween or do you want to watch Tremors? Ours would be Halloween. Theirs would be Tremors. It's just like creature. Ours is literally like graveyards, ghouls, monsters, vampires, demons, like stuff
Farting mud people.
stuff
It
that
has
you wear,
everything.
stuff that you wear as Halloween
Things you
costumes.
didn't know existed were in this movie.
Just they packed in originality,
Just like Halloween.
Halloween to the max. I mean,
Is
they
that
were
what you're
they
dressing up for
they were in a graveyard. They were like Thriller
I'm
in a
gonna be a
graveyard.
lustful muckman.
A lustful
Forget
muckman.
Harley Quinn this year. Everybody's gonna be a farting mudman.
Literally, lust crazed muckmen. They were trying to
That's
get
true.
their lust on.
We didn't mention the girl in the blue dress with her spookies hanging out the whole
just
movie. Like
spookies.
she,
Yeah,
they're,
but
they're
she
after
wasn't
her.
even the one advertised.
Yeah,
on the
right?
front.
They kind of
Yeah.
combined her and the bride on the
Yeah,
front of the
they did.
movie.
Like Halloween. I mean, ours is like the quintessential like C movie for Halloween. It's not like what's Bruce Campbell
pretty
and
much
the
Evil Dead.
Like Evil Dead is like a campy Halloween
like a
movie.
B and C movie combined.
Yeah,
Right.
it is a B and C movie
Literally.
combined. Literally.
I said it.
Just like
So you're
straight.
saying the atmosphere for
Oh
Halloween.
yeah, like the whole tone was just like people getting killed. Like you had like their weird like little demonic angle.
Driving through the woods looking for a party.
Yeah, I mean
That's
Halloween.
Halloween.
That is Halloween. A bunch of people just getting slaughtered in an abandoned mansion.
That's good.
Nothing
Yeah,
screams.
who else wants to party on an abandoned
Yeah.
mansion on Halloween?
Duke
I
does.
would.
How about you?
My boy Duke.
Tell us, Chud
No.
2. Why
Okay.
why Halloween? Why would you watch this at Halloween?
I disagree with Sasha.
Okay.
I disagree with his point on the examples of what these movies were compared to. Sorry, Sasha, but Spookies to me did not necessarily say Halloween. It just said more horror.
That's
It
hard.
kind of said more like Evil Dead 2, which to me isn't necessarily Halloween. It's just I don't know. It's just more I don't know. It reminds me more of how like Jason Voorhees would be.
Okay.
Jason Voorhees to me is not necessarily Halloween-esque, where the movie Halloween is.
Okay.
Because our movie, although it takes place in a couple days, the final day takes place on Halloween. And on that day, the Chuds are out in the open and in public because kids are trick-or-treating.
So it's a plot device. It's not a movie about Halloween-esque things.
But
They
it
just- they
takes
use-
place in the actual holiday of Halloween.
Well,
Where
but
your
it was
movie
a
is just
cleverly
this kid, they
written
just
plot
stumble
device.
upon. They weren't out at Halloween parties. They were just out partying.
Yeah, but you
and just
wouldn't
stumbled
put that
upon.
on to be spooked on Halloween.
No,
It's true.
but
That's what
this
is
is
about.
more. I would
It's
say
true.
more Halloween-esque because it does take
Just
place.
because they show Halloween.
Yeah,
Watching-
it takes place on
Well, and-
Halloween.
So the question was watching. What would you watch for Halloween to match the tone?
Oh, I thought it was more what's more
No, what would you-
Halloween-esque.
What would you want to put on? Like, tell me why you would watch your movie on
on Halloween.
Well, ours could actually be a little bit more family-friendly, I would say.
Now I will give you that. Family friendly.
more-
It is.
So why would you put
Appealing.
this on? Why October 31st comes around? Why are you putting on Chud 2?
It's more appealing.
I mean, it is more appealing, and it's one of those things where it actually has like a plot that you can actually kind of cover, like follow and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. The thing about Chud is there's like a beginning and a middle and end.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Spookies is kind of just
This
like
has a beginning, a middle, and a middle.
That's true. We have 2 beginnings, 2 middles, and then 1 end.
and then usually like it ends at least once, so that's pretty good.
The one thing though is this is perfect background for like a Halloween party. Just like
Yeah.
it's like Halloween parties.
Every
like
time I come here for Halloween, there's one of these playing in the background.
not one of those, one of these.
Okay, but think about this. Oh crap! I lost my thought. No,
Amy's gonna put on Chud 2 now.
just to prove my point. Listen,
I'm not coming.
stop
Still not
it.
gonna watch the TV.
Listen,
We got you. All right, we're in.
if you had an option to play these two movies,
Okay.
Chud is its own movie, all on its own. You cannot compare it to any other movie. Where
very true.
That's for
Spookies, you can
Not even
compare
Chud
that.
1.
I'm not going to put on that. I'm going to put on Evil Dead 2. There are way better movies that are very similar, that have better effects, better plot lines,
Oh,
better characters. It is not a
absolutely.
movie on its own.
Absolutely, but
Where
between the two of
Chud-
these-
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah, oh,
Chud
yeah.
is its own thing. And they went creative and they did
Point
awesome
and
with
taken.
it.
I think the thing is, you mean I know you guys are
That's
saying
my
that,
point.
Chud yourself.
I know you guys are. I know you guys are. You guys are ridiculous. I know you're saying that like the whole Halloween thing is like just a plot device, but I thought it was like really clever though too.
Mm-hmm.
Like with it ending like crescendo on like a Halloween night. And,
Oh, Using
like, they
Halloween
could-
was genius.
It was pretty cool because you mean they could just walk around and everybody's like, "Huh, cool cool outfit," and like they just kind of blended in and like
Family friendly. Toddlers saying,
I will.
Phantom costumes.
Okay,
Look,
besides
yeah,
just
maybe
two
that's
curse
I don't
words.
think Silas
Well,
is
here's
going
the
to
thing.
watch this one
I
anytime
worked-
soon.
your
but
your screenwriters were definitely more clever. Were definitely better paid and more talented with the screenplay. So using Halloween as a plot device was a clever way for them to introduce them to the streets. So I'll give the screenwriters definitely a lot of credit for like not just being like, oh yeah, and then they walked out on the street and it was fine. Or like, oh, it was like the spring dance, and then these idiots showed up like looking weird. They were like, oh hey, what's a good creepy thing? Halloween, awesome, and it did work out. I'll give you that.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I've heard a lot of good stuff from both. Like, and they were both like evenly matched. Like, it wasn't like we had like one movie was like a struggle to fight for. They were both really good. Now, before I make like a ruling or anything, does anybody have any final words they want to say about the movie?
I want
I
a
do
parting
too.
shot. Amy and I, we got parting shots,
Oh,
baby.
man.
Okay, hold on.
I'll
It's
even
gonna
go
be
first.
No,
I'll
no,
even
I
go
need
hold
to have
on.
anything
no,
as
no,
well.
go for it. It's
Hold
gonna
on.
be a
So
Chud grudge
these are
match.
these are closing statements. Closing statements from both teams. Nacho Libre, Phantom of the Opera team, and Chudding it up, Chudsters, the double Chuds. All right, closing arguments from Nacho Libre team.
Wait, okay.
Sasha
and Dan, I want to hear Spookies' final arguments.
Well, my final argument is actually a rebuttal to their point, which I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up this particular thing, and then you guys actually mentioned it, but as a positive. And it's not necessarily like I could see it as a positive, but the whole the endearing, like the goofiness of Bud the Chud, to me, like at first you're like, oh, he's kind of funny. And then after a while, I don't know about you guys, but like it started to grate on my nerves. Like he was so like he was just like after a little while his like like that was him for the first like almost like the whole time. Like he quieted down later, but only because they introduced that he created like 30 more chuds, so his screen time went down. Right. Thank God, because like that goofy like oh he's chasing the cat around, oh he's slipping on the water. Like at first you're like ah that's funny, and then it just wouldn't stop. It wouldn't stop, and he's just they're like. And then like to me like the goofy thing where like he like the crunch and then he'd come out like picking his teeth. I was just like I don't know like it began to grate on my nerves. I don't know if I come on like who somebody like you know it just like it just began to be annoying. You're just like oh like you are annoying. And I know he wasn't the main character, but it is Bud the Chud. Right. So he was one of the central characters, and his whole demeanor like up until him, you know, ripping the heart out of the chest. Like once he had his posse of chuds around him, he wasn't on screen as much. But that's to say that's the positive because he was less annoying. Like that's he was like squad deep. He's got a squad of chuds. Squad. But like him as a character got annoying within a few minutes. Just like his whole demeanor, and I don't know. Like I just sat there and I was just like. He's annoying. Like, get back to the kids. Like, even like Steve was a little bit annoying because he was like, I'm just like, it's 1989, you know, and I'm like 80s annoying.
He had an
but
awesome
it was
mullet.
Like, yeah, true. So like they were endearing and they were fun, but like the actual Chud, like Bud, the Chud himself, just began to grate on your nerves. And like by the end, I didn't like him. It made it hard for me to sympathize with it. Like the whole heart gesture would have been cooler if he wasn't so damn annoying. You're just like I hate you. Like, get out of my face. Your shtick is done.
So you not a fan of Bud?
No.
Anything else?
His shtick wore out. But he's he's like the linchpin of the movie. So him, the linchpin, just quickly wore out.
Okay.
You know, and violence and gore, creatures. Did I mention that we have a lot of monsters?
You did a few times.
All right.
So closing arguments from
I rest
your case.
my guns.
Closing arguments from Chud 2, Bud the Chud.
I mean, I have something to say, and then if you have anything else.
Go ahead.
As Sasha has mentioned, there are a lot of monsters in this movie.
Which one?
What?
Oh, Spookies.
In Spookies.
Talking about Spookies,
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Okay, so there's a lot of monsters in Spookies, and I will give them the credit of many of the monsters were very cool. They were very well done. I don't know who they paid or what person was on set doing them. If it was one particular person or a team, they did a fantastic job. But not all of it looked good. And a lot of like the makeup and the costumes failed significantly. So the only good parts of those movies were maybe 4 of the monsters that looked good, puppets. Everything else failed significantly, and not in a charming way. In a, I don't want to watch this movie anymore. I'm going to fall asleep. So, even though they had some great puppets, the makeup, there's the part with the Reaper, the Grim Reaper, who literally is just a man in a Halloween costume that looks like it's from Target. Like,
shred the gnar.
It's just, there's, you know what I mean? So they out of the one shining light, everything else is pretty dark. It's pretty not that great. Okay. Even the gore and stuff was not entertaining. It was kind of like a slice on the leg, and I don't know. It just, everything fell short. I wouldn't say it's charming. I wouldn't even say, I don't know. It's not even a B movie, campy, charming movie. It's just a bad movie.
Gotcha.
So that's my last argument. But
no, I agree. That's really all I have as
okay.
well.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Okay. This was a legitimately tough one.
We had a battle.
Yeah,
it was like a
battle.
You guys really brought it. Like,
this is
both
the
teams
heavyweights.
really brought it hard.
We brought the wood.
In like a really good way. And like, you know, it's not just like a clear choice off of the movie itself. Like, it was really down to the arguments. You know, you guys were saying that, oh, the gore, you know, kind of closing arguments, the gore didn't matter. It was just there. in a way, like, I mean, that was the strongest point of their movie. Was the gore was what made their movie, and
But there was
like,
no gore.
What?
What?
Yeah,
What
tons
gore?
of gore.
The gore was what made their movie. That's like one of the key things.
Gore.
Now,
Getting
Blood splurting out of the knees. That chick just like the guy.
Spiders sucking entire beings.
Yeah.
out of
and that being
Remember
Yes.
the guy collapsed. He literally collapsed on himself and was like,
so
I guess so.
you guys had the gore, you guys had the creature effects, you guys had more of that charm, comedy, like some really funny one-liners. And it really came down to, there was a few points that were made that really sold me, and I honestly didn't think I was going to go this way. And it's not even the movie that I enjoyed the most. But I'm going to give it to Chud 2. And you surprised me. I really, going into this, I thought Spookies had the advantage. And you honestly sold me with the Halloween question. Not just because yours takes place on Halloween, but the fact that you said, well, if I'm going to put on a movie like this, I'd rather put on Evil Dead. And that really surprised me, because you're like, I was like, wow, that's a good point. Like, you can get the same kind of creature effects from a lot of other movies. I mean, it is a really awesome, funny movie,
Yeah.
but that point sold me. Your point about, there was character arcs, whereas these people kind of fell flat.
But we didn't watch the Evil Dead. It's true.
I know you didn't, but it was just a point that you brought up.
Chud 2, Spookies,
won.
Evil Dead.
It was just a really good point. I really liked what you guys said about the characters and like how that kind of overall was the arcing characters. There was actually development. These people, even though there was some amazing characters like Duke, and he was amazing himself, had a lot of good dialogue. It was just hilarious. You guys surprised me and brought it out with Chud 2. So, and I honestly enjoyed Spookies more, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Chud 2 today.
Yeah, all right.
I think we all enjoyed Spookies more. Spookies, if you get the chance, it's really obscure and hard to find.
Yeah.
But seek this movie out because
It
it's
is
really
good.
funny.
It's
You will,
fun.
you will laugh.
There's a lot of really boring stuff, but there's also some really funny moments, and just like the creature effects are really good. Like whoever did this, hopefully they went on to do other things because
Yeah.
they were really talented.
It is.
Yes.
It's great background enjoyment.
Yes.
It is.
Like, yeah, you're right. This is something that I, probably would put on in the background, but
Like a party.
yeah, it was enjoyable. Like, I would watch it again probably. Chud 2 might be a long time before I put that on again,
Yeah.
but it still had its key moments and it had some
Yeah.
funny stuff that
Who
I'll
doesn't
probably
want to see
quote.
Steve and Kevin running around with their shenanigans?
So-
and Bud grunting to himself.
So good job, guys. Both teams did really good. That was a lot of fun. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Keep it
Le-
spooky. Keep on chudding.
Keep on.
And we'll
Shut it.
and we'll-
Hashtag Chud.
Hashtag chud.
Lesson learned.
So-
Screenwriting wins every time.
Thank you guys. You guys both did all of you guys did a really
Yeah,
good job. So
very
we'll
good.
see you next time on Beaver Movie Battles. Spooky.
Chud.
Chud it up.
Damn you, Chud.
Good job,
That was
guys.
good, guys.
That was really good.
Hard. Sasha, you were making me nervous.
I thought my last.
Woo! I don't think so.
No way. No. Back. Never again.